Yeah, great. Imagine that you are the financial director of one of the biggest construction companies in the Czech Republic. You manage billions of Czech crowns in revenue every year. You have hundreds of employees under you, and you have tens of contracts running at each moment. Sounds great, doesn't it? Well, there is one tiny little problem. This, what I'm holding right here, is the only tool you have to manage all of your finances. You print out PDF files, and that's all of the information you have about how the company is doing. That doesn't sound so great, does it?
Well, these are just some of the problems that we would like to point out today. And I really want to focus on those papers Sam is holding because it's not a joke. It's actually the source of information the financial director has to get for every meeting he attends. And those are just for him. Imagine like 4 or 5 people with him at the same meeting. So it's still those papers for every one of them, which leads to the next problem, which is the time you have to spend looking for the exact numbers you want to get from those data sources. You cannot easily compare the projects. You cannot easily find the project with the most negative cash flow. You cannot easily just sort the projects like based on which one is the most profitable one. You really just have those papers, and if you don't define it good at the beginning, you spend a lot of time looking for the numbers you want to get. And there's also a human mistake we would like to point out. It's just an easy example. Maybe you just print out the wrong period of time you want to look at, and then you have to do this whole process again. So we think that this process is pretty rigid and inflexible, and we just thought that we could do something with that. So we were thinking, can we make this whole process more efficient? Well, we are standing here, so I think you can guess the answer. And here is the timeline of how we did that.
So we started, obviously, by trying to understand the data. As I've said before, they have some PDF exports at the moment, but they were not even sure how some of the metrics are calculated in those exports. So we had to understand all the metrics, all the stuff. Then we imported the data into data warehouses. We have some architecture, not really important. What is important is that we did a lot of analyzing on top of this data. We tried to understand how the business is looking, what the cash flow is, what the future is going to be like, where are the possible problems. Like some projects, for example, can be in a profit from the accounting standpoint, but have negative cash flow. And that's a big problem for the financial directors that really want to focus on that. So we tried to build reports and the whole infrastructure around trying to help them solve all of those problems.
Speaking about reporting, those are 2 out of the 4 final dashboard we created. And I would like to talk a bit about the benefits that the company can get from those. As simple as this may sound, is the access to all of the data at any time, which was not really possible before, only through looking at newspapers or PDFs. They can easily filter all of their data by time, look at the historical data. They can also filter it by the stage of the project. They can also find data on each division they have. They can easily now compare those projects, filter those, sort those. And the smaller dashboard is detail of the project. If you would look up for this in those papers, you would just have to find 4 rows and then sum it up, and then you would have the result. Now they can just click and have it immediately. And you can also now forget all of those paper stuff. I hope so. Now, I think the last question of our presentation is We did our best, but is the solution perfect? And may or may not be this surprising. The answer is no. But we still think that even though it's not perfect, it was successful. And there are two reasons for that. Um, the company is now actually really interested in business intelligence in general, which is like a really big shift from the beginning when they knew really little to nothing about it, and now they really want to switch this process to become more data-driven company, which we think is a big success. And that leads me to the second reason, which is the integration or implementation. We are discussing two ways of doing that. The first one is just integrating our solution, which would work pretty good for the C-level management at this moment. And the next step would be probably to build like their own whole new data warehouse with more data sources and like the bigger use for the whole company. So not perfect, but still I think was successful.
So in conclusion, we came into a company that had a lot of data, but did not really have a way how to work with them. And we got them from the paper-based model that they used before to a digital solution that saves a lot of paper, saves a lot of time, and makes the whole company more agile and ready for the future. Thank you.
So that was the presentation from Team 14. Thank you. Jury, what are your questions?
Do you have some connectors, for example, for SAP or something like that? Or what is the source system for your reporting?
They have some ERP from Oracle that they are using at the moment. So we are getting the data through CSV files and importing them into a data warehouse running on SQL.
Okay, and did you create your own data model in the data warehouse, or you use some your own model? Okay.
We use the information we got from the management, like they had quite an extensive accounting book that we used to model the data a little bit, but we had to do a lot of adjustments to be able to fit all of it.
Okay, thank you.
You mentioned saving a lot of paper. What does that mean?
The rough estimate is that they need to print for each manager each month at least 100 pages. So the rough estimate for the whole company for the year is at around 12,000 pages. 12,000 pages of paper that not only needs to be printed but also stored properly and disposed of properly. So they have to pay a company to destroy the paper professionally because it's very sensitive information. It's all the accounting information of the whole company.
So what does it mean in money?
That's a great question. We did not get that answer from them.
If you get to the final, please have the answer. And one more question. What was the feedback you got when you presented this to the user or the manager?
For the report that we already have for the reporting layer, the feedback was great. They loved it. They are working with it right now. They are using it, testing it. But as Andrea have said, this is a very small part of the whole company. It's not possible to do the whole company in such a small time. So for them, this is more of a trial run to see what is possible to do with like business intelligence and reporting. And now they will decide whether they want to implement more of it or not. And the important part is that they are looking into it. They started asking the important questions. They finally realized in like the last few meetings that they could have like visualization and some more calculations and stuff. So I think we were able to shift the mentality into like the modern.
Would you be willing to continue with the project?
I think so, yeah.
And what benefits did the project bring to you as a team?
I think that we finally did all of the stuff we are taught in school in real life for a real company, which was interesting to put it all together in one project in really limited time scope. And also those meetings were not every time nice, I would say. I still remember the first one when we came there and told them what are we want to do with their data, and they were like, oh, wow, if you think you can do that, do that. But the last one was really nice. They finally understood everything that is possible and actually wanted to get more and more. So they were asking questions like, please, can you add this and this and this? So I think experiencing this process in real life was nice.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. It makes me always wonder, because you have maybe stolen the opportunity to their main IT provider, to the ERP vendor, and it makes me wonder why ERP vendors don't care about how companies use their system, and then they need to invite some other company. What have you discussed with the management what they have tried before they allowed you to show there is a value?
I believe that Oracle definitely has for other ERP systems, like reporting solutions and stuff. The problem with this one is that it's from the turn of the millennia. It's like they bought it in 2003 and they are still using it. So no one really cares about systems from 2003. So that's why they have to build custom-made solution just for this.
And have they thought about replacing the old system already, or?
They never talked about that. I think they have so much data stored in it that it would just be such a big task to do that they are not really thinking about that.
Okay. More questions? Thank you very much. Big applause.